surrounded by a loving family that seemed unbreakable. Alex Johnston was that golden boy full of life, dream, and potential.
It's over. Alex Carter. Arrested at the airport. $35,000. Debt revealed. Jailed. Alex Carter stared through the wide airport windows as rain streamed down the glass, turning the runway into a blur of silver lights. His suitcase rested beside him, while boarding announcements echoed through the terminal. He had spent months preparing for this journey, believing it would mark the beginning of a new chapter. Instead, every passing minute seemed to bring another unexpected challenge. Only a week earlier, Alex had accepted an invitation to attend an important business conference overseas. Friends congratulated him, convinced that the opportunity would change his future. He smiled during every conversation, but deep inside, he carried a burden he had hidden for months. His small business had suffered several financial setbacks, leaving him with debts that continued to grow despite his efforts to recover. The largest obligation was nearly $35,000. The amount wasn't created overnight. It had accumulated through unpaid invoices, emergency repairs, and a loan taken during a difficult period. Alex believed he could repay everything once a new contract was finalized, but delays kept pushing his plans further away. Determined not to give up, he arrived at the airport hours before departure. He checked in, passed the luggage counter, and walked toward the security checkpoint with quiet confidence. His passport was scanned without issue, and everything appeared normal until an airport official politely asked him to step aside. At first, Alex assumed it was a routine security check. Travelers around him continued moving, while two uniformed officers approached. Their expressions remained calm and professional. "Mr. Carter," one officer said, "we need you to come with us for a few minutes." Alex nodded without arguing. He followed them into a private office near the security area. Inside, another official reviewed information on a computer screen before looking up. "There appears to be an outstanding legal matter connected to your financial records," the official explained. Alex was stunned. "There must be some mistake," he replied. "I've been working with my lawyer to resolve everything." The official listened carefully before responding. "You'll have an opportunity to explain. Right now, we need to verify the information." For nearly an hour, documents were reviewed, and several phone calls were made. Alex answered every question honestly, believing the misunderstanding would soon disappear. Instead, new paperwork arrived, confirming that a court had issued an order requiring him to appear before traveling internationally. His flight departed without him. Outside the office, passengers continued their journeys, unaware of the difficult conversation taking place behind the closed door. Alex contacted his attorney immediately. "I thought the hearing had been postponed," he said. There was silence on the other end before his attorney finally answered. "I've just received the court notice. Something changed yesterday afternoon. I wasn't informed until now." The news only deepened the uncertainty. Because the court order had not been addressed before his attempted departure, authorities informed Alex that he would be taken into custody while the legal process moved forward. The officers treated him respectfully, explaining each step as they escorted him from the airport. News of the incident spread quickly online. Within hours, headlines appeared across social media. Some claimed Alex had committed fraud. Others insisted he had tried to escape the country. None of those rumors had been confirmed, yet they spread faster than the facts. Friends and relatives watched in disbelief. Some defended Alex immediately, insisting he would never intentionally break the law. Others remained silent, waiting for official information before forming an opinion. Meanwhile, reporters gathered outside the courthouse, hoping to capture photographs as vehicles arrived throughout the afternoon. Inside a temporary holding area, Alex replayed every decision that had brought him to this moment. He wondered whether accepting the overseas invitation had made everything worse, or whether the confrontation would have happened eventually, regardless of his travel plans. Hours later, his attorney finally arrived, carrying several folders filled with financial records. The debt itself isn't the biggest problem, the attorney explained quietly. The issue is whether the court believes you ignored previous notices. Alex closed his eyes. I never intended to ignore anything. I know, the attorney replied. Now we have to prove it. As evening approached, a hearing was scheduled for the following morning. The courtroom would determine whether Alex could be released while the financial dispute continued. Outside, television crews prepared for live broadcasts. Inside, Alex sat alone, uncertain about what the next day would bring. For the first time in many years, the future he had carefully planned no longer felt predictable. Every decision made over the coming hours could reshape his career, his reputation, and the life he hoped to rebuild. The long night had only just begun. Part 2. Morning arrived with gray skies hanging over the city as Alex Carter was escorted into the courthouse. Reporters waited outside the entrance, hoping to learn whether he would be released or remain in custody while the financial case continued. Cameras flashed as he walked through the hallway beside his attorney, keeping his eyes forward and saying nothing. Inside the courtroom, the atmosphere was quiet. The judge reviewed several documents before inviting both sides to present their arguments. Alex's attorney explained that the unpaid balance had resulted from a struggling business, delayed client payments, and unexpected expenses, rather than an attempt to avoid responsibility. Detailed financial records were placed before the court, showing months of negotiations with lenders and efforts to repay the outstanding amount. The opposing side argued that multiple notices had gone unanswered, raising concerns about whether Alex would appear for future hearings if released. Alex listened carefully, realizing that the missing correspondence had become the center of the dispute. When asked to speak, Alex stood and addressed the court respectfully. I have never tried to run away from my responsibilities, he said. Every decision I've made has been focused on saving my business and protecting the people who worked with me. If mistakes were made, I want the opportunity to correct them. The judge paused before announcing a short recess. Outside the courtroom, Alex's attorney reviewed the case once more. While searching through another folder, she discovered several emails that had never reached Alex because they had been sent to an outdated address. The discovery could explain why important notices had gone unanswered. This changes everything, she whispered. When the hearing resumed, the attorney presented the newly discovered records. The judge examined the documents carefully before requesting additional verification from both parties. After nearly an hour of discussion, the court concluded that more evidence would be required before making a final decision. Alex was granted temporary release under strict conditions. His passport would remain with the court, and he would be required to attend every future hearing. Although relieved to leave the holding facility, Alex understood that his legal battle was far from over. As he stepped outside the courthouse, reporters surrounded him with questions. Did you try to leave the country to avoid your debt? Are the allegations true? Will your business survive? Alex stopped for a brief moment. I'll answer every question when the legal process is complete, he said calmly. Right now, my focus is resolving this matter honestly. He then walked away without making further comments. Later that evening, Alex returned to his office for the first time in days. Dust covered several desks, and unopened mail had accumulated near the entrance. While organizing the paperwork, he found a sealed envelope hidden beneath a stack of invoices. Inside was a letter from one of his largest former clients. The company admitted that a delayed payment, worth nearly $20,000, had been caused by an internal accounting error. They promised to transfer the funds immediately, along with written confirmation. Alex stared at the letter in disbelief. If the payment arrived as promised, it would dramatically reduce the outstanding debt and strengthen his position before the court. His attorney smiled for the first time in days. This isn't the end, she said, but it's the first real piece of good news we've had. Alex looked out the office window as the city lights appeared in the distance. The road ahead remained uncertain, yet for the first time since the airport incident, hope had begun to replace fear. Still, one unanswered question remained. Who had continued sending legal notices to the wrong email address after being informed of the correct one? Someone, somewhere knew the answer, and uncovering that truth could change the entire case.